on when you're viewing this video. I wanted to have this video serve two purposes. All right, so I wanted to go over the now updated, once again, Google Calendar because of the directive from the diocese to extend our distance learning under the CDC and state initiative up until, well, May 1st, and we'll see if it goes any further than that. So I'm going to go over the Google Classroom. I also want to do kind of an overview of what to expect this week. All right. It is Holy Week, and it's a busy week too because we're gearing up for Easter break. And I'm not going to be giving you guys any assignments like I stated earlier, but mainly to kind of make up for that week off, we are doing a couple of things lining up together, so you might have more than one activity during the week. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over that first, and then I'll introduce the movie. Okay, let's see. So yesterday we had our third mass reflection. I've noticed that a couple of you have taken advantage of the extra credit. Remember, you don't have to do this assignment. This is not required. It's an extra credit assignment, and it is time sensitive. So you only have from the moment that Mass is streaming at 8 o'clock until 10 o'clock that same morning to complete the Mass reflection assignment, and it has to be done with a parent or guardian as well. There is a question that is included at the end that requires feedback. The nice thing about these assignments is that it is viewing the Mass, when we can't go to Mass, and it's also encouraging you to view the Mass, pray the Mass, celebrate the Mass in this new kind of setting with your family. Okay, so it has multiple purposes, not just academic, right? Hopefully spiritual, and hopefully it's been a good experience for you. So anyway, you don't have to start at number 1, you don't have to start at number 2 if you haven't done any of them yet, or number 3. You still have number 4 tomorrow, Wednesday in the morning. Okay, that's your final chance for extra credit as far as assignments go in religion. All right. So with that said, we are going to be doing our Section 4 Part 2 review, the same as usual. Today you will have 2 assignments, and I'll talk about the first one. It's being versus doing. It's a kind of a normal handout, individual assignment that you'll be responding to a couple of prompts in the Google Classroom and posting your responses. Okay. But we are starting a brand new unit or project, more or less, based off of the movie Black Robe. First and foremost, I have to tell you this, full disclaimer, this movie is rated PG-13. So I cannot show this movie without parental consent. So I heavily screened it to have you just respond to scenes that I post in the Google Classroom, little segments of the movie itself, just to kind of get you kind of an overarching idea of what's going on in this movie. So basically, just to kind of give you an introduction to it, it is the story about some missionary priests, some Jesuits, who come to the New World, and in this exploration of the New World, they tried to spread Christianity, spread the good news, right? And this really ties in nicely with our unit that we're reading about in our book right now on on the consecrated life, where we were looking at religious orders and teaching orders and consecrated communities last week. We're going to be focusing on an experience that the consecrated life of the Jesuits encountered in the exploration of the New World. So just so you guys know, that's the tie-in. It is academic in some regards. Now let me show you the layout really quickly, because your first assignment for this movie project is today, and it will go from today through Thursday up to spring break. All right. So it'll look a lot like this. You go into the Google Classroom, you look at Black Robe number 1. Once again, I have segmented the assignment. It is only the first 15 minutes of the movie. And there are some questions that you're going to want to keep an eye on while you're viewing the movie, all right? And so the link is here below. It's the first 14 minutes, I guess, of the movie itself, all right? And then when you go to Black Robe number 2, it's another about 12-minute segment. It's in the middle of the movie, so we do skip through a few scenes to get to this portion. It's about the middle of the movie. And then finally, number 3, we'll watch the end of the movie as well. Once again, I do encourage you, I mean, obviously under parental guidance, to look into this movie. Um, it is a little dated. It's back from it was released in 1991, but it does a pretty good job in kind of capturing both the spiritual struggles and financial struggles, and just mainly governance struggles historically that the missionaries had to overcome during their time of evangelizing the good news in the New World at the time. So that's kind of the value of this movie. And for the most part, we're watching maybe 45 minutes of a nearly 2 hour long movie, well, an hour and a half long movie. So obviously we are going to be missing some pretty big points. So I'm going to ask you to be as insightful as you can be, and to make sure that if you do have any questions, because we are kind of sectioning off this movie due to its rating, that you ask me questions. All right, send me email, comment in the Google Classroom, do anything that you can if you run into any slip ups. Okay, because this assignment collectively is going to be a pretty solid piece of your grade, because it is technically a project. Okay. So make sure that you're staying on top of that, that you're staying on top of the couple of assignments we have this week, including being versus doing, and your your part 2 from section 4 review. All right. And at that point, we'll be going into Easter break, so I'm wishing you all a very happy Easter, a holy Easter Triduum, and that you maximize your time during Easter break in this secluded state that we're in, to really take time to think about what is going on in our faith tradition during this time. Okay, it's a very holy time, and traditionally, even though it's going to be a little different this year, traditionally a very sacred and liturgically high time, right? Um, so I encourage you to take some time away from your day to really think about what the footsteps of Christ are like right now, especially in this Holy Week. Okay. All right. So once again, the update of the Google Calendar is in the Google Classroom. Remember, you have one more extra credit assignment tomorrow, and that we need to start watching those scenes from the movie. Only the scenes that I posted in the Google Classroom, because once again, this movie cannot be shown in its entirety without parental consent. So I did have to section off big sections of it. All right. So that's basically a summary. And once again, very happy and Merry Easter, and I will talk to you guys again when we come back in the lecture on discernment after Easter. All right. As always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless.